Hello lovelies, it's Lesley. Not quite enough skill at plying or skeins, if this is anything to go by. Getting in a tangle. How are we? I hope everyone's okay. Thank you for all of your comments and thoughts, especially after I had such a busy week with lots to tell you last week. So thank you for watching and for your enthusiasm for my lovely day out. Hope everyone's doing okay. This is a bat that I had skeined and then I decided to practice chain plying, and goodness knows I need the practice. Yes. This week's been a bit quieter. Saturday went to see my dad just for a visit, just to see how he is. I'm back there again tomorrow being Wednesday as I record this. Excuse that noise, it's the bobbin turning on the Lazy Kate. Yes, we have an appointment Thursday morning for some equipment that may help him, so I'm staying tomorrow night because we've got to have an early start on Thursday. And during drumming practice last night, I realised that this year I have not and will not do any of our bonfire parades, which makes me feel a bit sad and not great, but it's just circumstances. You know, other things have taken priority this year and I've just had to kind of go with them, so that's what we've got, but I just didn't feel great about it. Sorry, this is quite noisy. This week's book and designer for Black History Month, so it's the last of the 4 weeks. Black History Month is in October in the UK. I know it's in February in USA and Canada. I don't know even where it's celebrated elsewhere, but it's October in the UK. And I've been each week suggesting a book that may be of interest if it's something you would like to read more about, and also I've been giving away a pattern from a Black British designer. Thank you to everyone who's been interested in that, engaged in that, taking part. I really do appreciate it, thank you. This week's book, I'm sitting here with a list of 4 and I really don't know which to suggest. So I'm going to tell you about all 4 of them, and this is by no means an exhaustive list. But they are quite different in character, so there may be something here that you like. So the first is Stephanie Yeboah and Fattily Ever After, and this is her experience of being a fat black British woman. So negotiating racism, but also negotiating the experience of being a fat woman. So if that's of interest to you, it's called Fattily Ever After. The most serious of these books, but one that I'm very glad I've read, Afua Hirsch's British. And I read this during the start of the Black Lives Matter movement. Actually, I'm not sure it was the start, but after the death of George Floyd in the USA. And I think it's very easy, if you're sitting in a quiet European country, or even a noisy one, to think that the problem doesn't exist here in the same way it does in other places. And what Afua Hirsch has done through statistical research, as well as interviews, and you know, it's a proper bit of booking here, is absolutely prove that that's not the case at all, and that systemic racism is as profound a problem here as you would expect to see anywhere, or be disappointed to see anywhere. You shouldn't expect to see it anywhere, but we digress. Yes, so British by Afua Hirsch. Statistics heavy, but my goodness, they are interesting statistics. and a very well researched piece of work. The one I've read most recently on this list is Blacklisted by Jeffrey Boach. And that's structurally an interesting book because it is a list of words used to describe black people or used within the black community, and it goes through what they mean and the way that they're used, the meaning they carry. And the last one on this list, but like I say, it's not exhaustive, Gina Yashire's autobiography, Cat-Handed. Gina Yashire is a comedian and also a writer and actor. In the USA, she is writer, I believe, and certainly in Bob Hart's Abishola. I don't know how big a thing that is. It's not a show we get here in the UK, so I don't know how big it is in the US. But I know it is a US show. So, and she's the kind of driving force behind that, I believe. So those are the books. I'm sure there are lots more. So please feel free to add recommendations, and maybe I'll put a list together somewhere. Talking of putting a list together, Valerie the Wonderful suggested that perhaps I put together a list of black British designers, which I'm more than happy to do as a thread on Ravelry, and maybe even put a bundle together if I work out how to do that. So if you have recommendations for black British designers that I haven't yet listed, and again, the lists I've got are not exhaustive, so there are many that I haven't mentioned, please do let me know in the comments and I will add them to a list on Ravelry, and like I say, hopefully put together a bundle if I can work out how to do that, and I'm sure it can be researched. So designers for this month, or this week, or rather, whose pattern am I giving away this week? And again, I have a list here. Now, some of these folks, I don't know if they're still designing as actively. When you look at when the last patterns were published, they were a few years ago, so I don't know if people are still actively creating designs or not. Not that it matters, if it's a design you like, it doesn't matter when it was created. But I have decided to go with, for this week, and there's my phone. Do you know, if I was deliberately trying to build suspense on this, and there's no reason why I should, but you know, if I was, that would have been a great way to do it. So the designer that I've gone for this week is Jimenez Joseph, who is under the name of Jimi Knits on Ravelry. I will link her details below. And she has a good range of patterns, including some that are machine knitted. So if you are an AliExpress user, and why would you not be? Come on, they're the fabbest thing. There are some patterns for garments made using the AliExpress king size. So that's why I've gone for her. But other names, and again, I will list them below. Natalie Warner, who I met last week, has some beautiful designs online. Sylvia Watts Cherry, who I've also met. It sounds like I'm trying to drop names here. I met Sylvia at a knitting event in Brighton last year, and she is just a really lovely person, and we just sat chatting about stuff unrelated to knitting. Actually, we were just kind of chatting about like her other work and all that sort of thing. So just, again, a lovely person. There are some lovely people in this community, but we know this already. For crochet patterns, Helda Panigari, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. I'll put all the names below. Lola Johnson of Third Vault Yarns is also a designer, and Diane Ugo has a number of sock patterns and other things. So I'll put all these names in the notes below if you're interested in finding someone who may be new to you, or a name that you've heard of in the past but perhaps haven't looked at for a while. So all those will be in the notes below. But it's Jimi Knits, whose pattern I will be giving away. So same rules as before. If you could in the comment please put BHM and which of Jimi's patterns you would like, and if you can do that by next Thursday, so that's by the end of the 2nd of November, and I will draw the winner next Friday of the 3rd and let you know. Other stuff. Oh, it's Zoom week this week, so the lovely Valerie the Wonderful, who is the host of the IT host of the Zoom. These are arranged by Barbara of the Flame and Fibre podcast, and it's a Zoom that in the UK is about 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but if you go onto Ravelry, onto the Flame and Fibre group, there's a sticked post for the Saturday Zoom, and that will give you all the details, including the login details. So hopefully see some of you on that. What else have we got going on? I'm sure there's something else. Yes, notifying people who've won prizes. If I know your Ravelry name, I will just send you the prize. If I don't know your Ravelry name, I will reply to your comment and ask you for your Ravelry name in that. So I think last week's prize has not yet had a response to that comment. So keep an eye out. Depending on how you're notified, you may or may not know. But yeah, keep an eye out on the YouTube comment that you've made on this video. Oh gosh, I'm confusing. And I will put a comment there. I mean, I'll let you know that you've won, but I may be asking for your Ravelry name so that I can get the pattern to you. I'm confusing myself, so I think I'm going to stop here for now. And I've finished scanning my yarn, which doesn't look too bad. It's got some blips, got some nasty blips. When you're in the middle of something that's going wrong, the bits that go wrong take a disproportionate amount of your time and energy, so it feels like a lot is going wrong. We shall call it, excuse me, a curate's egg, I think, because some of it's fine. Cheers. Hello lovelies, Friday morning, still got wet hair. It'll be wet as soon as I go out there. It is teeming down with rain at the moment. We've had a very soggy week. But it's been a reasonable week. Stayed with my dad. The visit that we had went fairly positively, so that's good. He's doing pretty well. Recovering now from the virus he had. He had shingles, which those who've had shingles will know that it's very painful, can leave you feeling incredibly fatigued, absolutely dreadful. It is not fun. But he's very much on the road to recovery from that. And just learning to deal with the new circumstances following the spinal injury, so he's doing really well. What else are we doing? Zoom on Saturday evening. Also on Saturday evening, the podcast will go up. Evening, my time. Yeah, so the month-end podcast will go up tomorrow, which is the 28th of October. Yeah, I've got some finished objects this month. In fact, I am struggling to get all of my ends into my decorative ball, my bauble. So I can't finish anything else because I can't get the ends in. I've got a few bits sticking out here that I couldn't fix. I've been trying, but you push in one way and it pops out the other, and no one wants to see that. So So yes, I've got a Zoom call excuse me, earlier in the day with some friends, so looking forward to that. I will be talking a lot this weekend. No change there then. And I think that's it. Next week, just kind of work and the usual stuff. But thanks again to everyone who's been interested in the Black History Month book recommendations, who's been interested in the draws for the patterns. And thank you for being here and for your comments and thoughts. I will see you tomorrow if you're on the Zoom. You'll see me tomorrow if you watch the month-end podcast. And you'll see me next week if it's the weekly vlogs that interest you. So thank you again. Take good care of yourself, keep well, and I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye. Now, I normally put music with footage of the dog, but I felt that I needed to explain this. When Madam goes out first thing in the morning, she comes back in, and sometimes she'll trot back upstairs and get back on the bed with her daddy, whom she loves more than all people. But mostly she'll curl up in this bundle of blankets and cushions because it's next to the radiator. And this pile does get tidied up, but then she just rucks it up to make a nest. So that's why she looks like this. Cheers.